Hello and welcome to the Business English Podcast, your go-to place for mastering the language of success. I'm Rob, here to help non-native professionals like you shine in the business world. Today's episode: hostile client or customer calls, diffusion and resolution. Buckle up, we're about to tackle something we've all faced, or will face sooner or later. Picture this. It's a rainy Tuesday in London, and Charlie, a sharp, ambitious project manager from Spain, is 6 months into his dream job at a buzzing tech firm. He's nailed emails, aced presentations, and even charmed a few colleagues with his accent. But last week was different. His phone rings. It's a client, a big one, and they're livid. "Charlie, this delay is a disaster. What's going on over there? Are you even capable of handling this?" Their voice cuts through the line like a knife, sharp and unrelenting. Charlie's heart pounds. He stammers, I'm sorry, we're working on it." But it's not enough. The client snaps back. "This is ridiculous." And before Charlie can recover, they're gone. Click. He's left staring at the phone, palms sweaty, wondering where it all went wrong. Ever been there? That moment when your English feels like it's betraying you and the call slips out of your hands. Here's the kicker: Charlie's not alone. Hostile calls, whether it's an angry client, a frustrated customer, or even a colleague who's lost their cool, are pretty much a rite of passage in business. But here's what Charlie didn't know then, and what you're about to discover now. There's a way to flip those moments, a skill that turns shouting matches into solutions and panic into power. What is it? Polite, firm language. It's your shield and your sword on tough calls, and it's what we're unpacking today. Why should you care? Because one bad call can unravel a deal, dent your confidence, or worse, leave a mark on your career. Imagine Charlie's client had stayed on the line, calmed down, and even thanked him by the end. Possible? Absolutely. But how do you make it happen? How do you keep your cool when someone's losing theirs? And what's the secret to sounding professional without bending over backwards? Stick around, because we're diving into why this skill is non-negotiable and how to master it, and the mistakes you'll want to dodge. Oh, and Charlie, let's just say his story's not over yet. There's a twist coming later on that'll make you smile. Let's get started. So we've just met Charlie, our project manager in London, whose client call went off the rails. Now let's zoom out. Why does mastering polite, firm language even matter? Spoiler alert, it's not just about surviving a shouting match. This is about winning in business. So let's break it down. First off, stakes are high on these calls. You're not just talking to an angry voice, you're guarding relationships, your reputation, and sometimes your job. Get it wrong, and you're the one left scrambling. Get it right, you're the hero who turns chaos into calm. Polite, firm language is your ticket to that win. It's not about being a pushover or a bulldozer. It's about control. You show you're listening, you stand your ground, and you steer the ship. Why? Because in business English, perception is everything. Sound shaky and they'll doubt you. Sound steady and they'll trust you. Let's paint some pictures. Picture this. You're on the phone with a supplier who's fuming about a late payment. They're barking, "This is unacceptable." With the right words, you cool them off, promise a fix, and keep them in your corner. Or imagine a video call. Your customer's face is red and they're ranting about a mix-up. You step in, calm and clear, and suddenly they're nodding instead of nagging. Or maybe it's a teammate overseas, misreading your email and blowing up over a deadline. You reset the vibe, clarify the plan, and save the day. That's what this skill unlocks, the power to flip frustration into progress. But here's the real juice. Emotions run through these moments. Your client's mad, you're stressed, and one wrong word can light the fuse. Polite, firm language cuts through that noise. It's your secret weapon to de-escalate, build trust, and solve problems fast, all while looking like the pro you are. Think about Charlie again. If he'd had this in his toolkit, that client might have stayed on the line, maybe even apologized. Could that happen for you? We're getting there, so stick with me. And here's a question for you. Ever wonder why some people just nail these calls while others crash? There's a trick to it, and it's not what you think. We'll crack that door open soon enough. Plus, how Charlie's story turns around. Trust me, you'll want to hear that one. For now, know this. This skill is not optional. It's your edge. So let's keep rolling. Alright, we've seen why polite, firm language is your superpower on tough calls. Now let's get to the good stuff. How do you actually do it? Here's the game plan. It's a simple 3-step combo. Acknowledge, assert, action. First, you acknowledge their feelings. Show you hear them. Then you assert your position, calmly stake your ground. Finally, you offer action, a clear next step. Sounds easy, right? Well, it's all in the delivery, and we're about to nail it with some killer phrases. But first, a quick heads up. If you'd like more resources like this, sign up for our weekly newsletter, the 3-Minute Minutes, for pro tips and even a transcript of an episode. Or, if you're ready to turbocharge your skills, grab the Business English Podcast Premium subscription. Links are in the show notes. Now, here are 3 phrases to own those hostile calls. I'll say each one twice before pausing so you can repeat it after me. Then I'll give you a scenario and a little nuance to polish it up. Let's go. First up, I understand this is frustrating and I'd like to resolve this for you. Let's find a solution together. I understand this is frustrating and I'd like to resolve this for you. Let's find a solution together. Imagine this. Your client's raging about a shipment delay. You drop this line, calm, steady, and suddenly they're brainstorming with you instead of biting your head off. The nuance here? That let's at the end, it's gold. It's an invitation, not a command. Pulling them into teamwork. It's subtle, but it shifts the vibe. Phrase 2. I can see why this is upsetting. I'll ensure this is addressed promptly. I can see why this is upsetting. I'll ensure this is addressed promptly. Picture a video call. A customer's fuming over a billing error. You say this, and their shoulders drop. They know you've got it. So what's the magic here? Ensure, it's a strong verb, oozing with confidence without the arrogance. Pair it with promptly and you're promising speed without over-promising. And the third phrase. I appreciate your concern. Here's what we can do to move forward. I appreciate your concern. Here's what we can do to move forward. A good scenario for this one could be when a colleague's upset over a missed deadline. You hit them with this, and bang, focus shifts to action, not blame. Check the word appreciate. It's warmer than understand, showing respect. And we? It's you and them, side by side, solving it together. Okay, let's tie this to Charlie. That client call, he could have said, I understand this is frustrating and I'd like to resolve this for you. Let's find a solution together. Instead of hanging up, he might have had a handshake moment, well, a virtual one anyway. And how would Charlie achieve this delivery? Well, practice, of course. Keep your voice steady, not rushed. Try these at home, in the car, wherever. Make them yours. Now, what trips professionals up with these sorts of phrases? We've got some real fine examples coming up next, plus a tip that will surprise you all. And Charlie's redemption? It's on the horizon. Stay tuned. Okay, we've got the phrases down, polite, firm, and ready to roll, but here's the catch. Even the best lines can flop if you trip over the wrong habits. Let's talk common errors and some slick tips to shine when facing those hostile calls. First, the slip-ups. Number 1, over-apologizing. You know the vibe. Sorry, so sorry, really sorry. It's like waving a white flag. Non-native speakers often lean on sorry to sound polite, but in English business culture, it can scream weakness or even guilt when it's not even your fault. Say it once, if it's warranted, then move on. Another classic? Matching their heat. They yell, you snap back, and suddenly it's a shouting match. Obviously, this is a big no-no. In Anglo cultures, staying calm under fire is power. Lose that, and you lose the room. Then there's vagueness. Okay, I'll look into it. Sounds helpful, but it's a ghost promise. Clients can smell the dodge a mile away. And one more. Grammar gremlins. Saying, I will to fix it, instead of, I'll fix it, or this is not good situation, instead of, this isn't a good situation, can raise some serious eyebrows. Small slips, but they chip at your credibility when tensions are high. So now let's look at some fixes. Here are 3 tips to own those difficult conversations. First, pause before you speak. 2 seconds of silence isn't awkward, it's command. It shows you're thinking, not panicking, and it throws them off their rant. Try it, it works like magic. Second, use their name. Miss Patel, I understand this is frustrating. It's personal, respectful, and cuts through the noise. Now, a cultural tip here. In English-speaking settings, names build bridges fast, unlike some cultures where it might feel too forward. Third, practice your tone. Record yourself saying those phrases from the previous section. I can see why this is upsetting. I'll ensure this is addressed promptly. Too soft, you're a pushover. Too sharp, you're the bad guy. Find the sweet spot, firm, warm, unflappable. And now let's turn our attention back to our London hero, Charlie. After his call from hell, he recorded himself, tweaked his vibe, and next time, he was gold. So, as you can hopefully start to see, these aren't just tricks, they're your ticket to confidence. But can a single word really derail it all? Well, we've got a story there, and of course we'll jump into Charlie's big win coming up next. And there you have it, your playbook for turning hostile calls into wins. Let's recap. Polite, firm language is your lifeline. Acknowledge their feelings, assert your stance, offer action, and then you're in charge. With phrases like, I understand this is frustrating and I'd like to resolve this for you. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. And Charlie? Oh, he got his shot at redemption. Next call with that fiery client, he paused, stayed steady, and said, I can see why this is upsetting, and I'll ensure this is addressed promptly. The result? The client calmed down, project saved, and Charlie's back in the game. That could be you, cool under pressure, turning rants into results. And so, one final tip before I go. Breathe. Seriously, before you answer, take a quick, deep breath. It steadies your voice and your mind. I know it sounds simple, but it's a game changer. Try it next time the phone rings and the stakes are high. So, what's next? Practice those phrases and let us know how you get on with them. Thank you for tuning in to the Business English Podcast. Keep speaking sharp, keep pushing forward, and of course, keep it strictly business.